right, my name's Ed Piscor.
Alika Seki.
And Jim Rugg is off looking at volcanoes or taking helicopter tours of Maui. He's got to be up at 2 a.m. to go see sunrises and shit like that.
Oh, man, he's still got to do that? He's in trouble.
So, Alika, first off, I have to thank you for helping me complete my run of Eastman Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I am so happy to, honored to help.
You hooked me up with all those City of Wars, man, City at War joints. That
those ones are getting pricey now.
Hard to find as well. And then we're sitting here post Maui Comic Con 2021. You were like, you want to come over to the crib? I have a complete run with a lot of these early reprints, man. So what are we looking at right here?
This one is the second printing of issue 1.
And it has some magic on the inside.
This signature is the one I most want, because this, I don't think he's ever even been to Hawaii, but Ryan Brown. He created Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Yeah.
And like, you know, some fun anthropomorphics.
That's so cool.
But there's the Eastman, that's the Michael Dooney.
I never touched my hands on one of these things with this kind of cover.
Steve
Levine, the letterer extraordinaire.
He's the third one through the door. I think he did some lettering on maybe the second or third issue.
It's really cool to see how the duotone kind of holds up on these ones. Some of these guys still pop into our comments, man. I think Michael Dooney pops up in our comments every now and then. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. So like, see, you're stunting, man. You're showing off.
Well, and so let me. This is my knowledge, at least.
Yeah, let's
you
hear
can
it.
tell a second from a third printing and a first printing, for that matter, by this middle T. On the first printing, that dot of blood right there is black.
I see.
Second printing, it's red, and on the third printing, you got a bunch of more dots of blood on there.
Interesting.
So you don't have to open the book to tell.
The fidelity of the color is different as well. Yeah. Like it's more, the gradient is more like it's more high contrast.
Oh yeah.
On this printing compared to that stuff, like they might have even like printed from that sort of film.
So this is the second printing of issue 2. I don't have a first printing anymore. I had to sell. I had a first printing of issue 1, and it was CGC 8.5 white pages, if that means anything to anybody who would watch Cartoonist Kayfabe.
Isn't that Mouser design like evergreen?
Yeah.
Interesting paper, by the way. This is not glossy paper.
Yeah, it's only for that one because you pick up issue 3 and it is the glossy one.
This is the
and
stuff,
both printings for issue 2.
This is the stuff that when we did the Kevin Eastman interview, I was like, can we just like package up all the editorial pages and letters pages, because there's stuff like, look, Michael Dooney has a letter in issue 2, like as a fan. You know what I mean? God. Like he's not even a part of the game yet. And he created one of the most iconic pieces of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles artwork. And he's just a mark at this moment.
Yeah, that's incredible.
There it is. I feel like we're going to get to that issue.
Yeah, once we get in the box, we'll get to it.
I remember when this game came out. First off, we were all stoked on it. The cartoon is out and everything, and it took an extra long time for this to come out. Then when you see the cover and you see all the red bandanas, it was like, is this some kind of like Chinese bootleg?
Yeah, exactly.
Like red bandanas. Like,
but then you see like the teeth are grittier than the cartoon would be, and you're like, these guys are mad.
Well, yeah, it just felt like off-brand because all I knew was the cartoon. I didn't know the comics at all. And then you realize that's the cover to issue 4.
Yep.
Reprint.
Second printing.
And this is the very first piece of
I have those
Ninja Turtles merchandise.
In that top drawer, Todd.
Oh, man.
In a little Tupperware.
That's amazing. The Dark Horse pewter, like PVC type figures.
You can't open the drawer.
That's all good.
We believe in a round little Tupperware. I know. Sorry.
Listen, we looked at 2 issues of #1, man. Like,
these little
look at this little contraband. Here, put it here. Because we need that light. Wow. Some Triceratons.
There were bigger versions
Here's
of these.
Turtles.
Like they would have ones that were like 3 times the size too. But these were like if you were playing the RPG.
Right.
These would be the minis you would run.
Casey Jones, Triceratons, a lot of Mousers.
Yeah, some Mousers in there.
Shredder in a badass pose. I've never seen these before.
Triceratons.
Yeah, they're huge. Wow. So is it a nostalgia thing? You were a fan of the cartoon? Like,
my gateway in was the cartoon. My first comic was the Archie series, which was actually early comics for me. Like the Archie Turtle comics. I came in around the Black Hole Trilogy, which was later in the run where they were starting to do like darker comic-like things, but with the cartoon-style turtles.
Right. Do you remember all the iterations of this? Like,
No,
I think there's like a red one or
there's
an
a New
orange
York
one.
No, there's a New York Comic Con one, and they something about the whole background. There's more white in the background, like they dropped the ink out.
I see. We did an episode on this issue because it has a car chase sequence, which is
I remember that episode.
Super hard to do in comics, let alone black and white comics. But these two VW microbuses get confused while the cops are chasing them, and they start chasing the turtles. It's very cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna fuck around and end up doing every issue of the turtles. I'm sure of that.
That would be incredible.
Cartoonist Kayfabe is brought to you by the comic books that we make. Red Room Trigger Warnings issue number 1 is on the stands today. In the first week of April comes Red Room Trigger Warnings issue number 2. That's the Pumpkins issue of Red Room. And of course, last year saw Red Room, the Antisocial Network. The idea for Red Room, it's murder on the dark web for fun and profit. Every issue is completely self-contained, and it is a gory splat fest, to say the least. The rest of the Ed Piskor bibliography that is currently in print, you have 3 volumes of oversized X-Men Grand Design retelling the entire story of the X-Men saga up through the origins to Days of Future Past, 4 volumes of Hip Hop Family Tree documenting in a very linear fashion the history of hip hop and rap music, and WYSIWYG, Portrait of a Serial Hacker, charting the life of a computer hacker from the earliest days of high technology up to WikiLeaks. Out in stores now, Jim Ruggs, Hulk Grand Design Monster, the first half of the Incredible Hulk lore, out on the stands as we speak. Various flavors. The Peach Momoko is coming out soon. How's that work, Jim?
April 14th. It'll be in stores everywhere. April 16th.
40 pages in issue documenting the history of the Incredible Hulk. There is a banger on every single page. Get it while it's hot. This thing is not going to be in the stores for long. And before you know it, comes Hulk Grand Design Madness, with some very cool variant covers by Ed McGuinness and Jeff Darrow to kind of goose those bookshelves in your local comic shops. And the rest of the Jim Rugg bibliography in stores now. Plain Janes with Cecil Castellucci, and rapidly going out of print soon. If you see it in your comic shops, get your hands on it right away, man, because we don't know when this is going to be back in print. Street Angel, Deadliest Girl Alive. Get these numbers up high on those Amazon charts. We love seeing it. We thank you so much. We appreciate your patronage. And now that we're done paying the bills, let's get back to the video.
And then the last magazine-sized issue 5, starts the first printings of Comic
And look at this, man. We're going to start pimping Albedo, which is the first appearance of Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah, issue 2.
What issue we at? Issue 1, 2, and 3 are available. So
issue 2 is that issue.
And oh, check this out, man. Joe Zabel, Garfield Heights, Ohio. Joe Zabel is a illustrator for Harvey Picar's American Splendor comics.
Have you met him?
Oh, sure. Yeah. He calls manga manja, which makes me want to choke him. But, he's a nice guy. He's older. He doesn't know the deal.
Sure.
It's amazing when you see this kind of stuff because it just lets you know how kind of insular the independent comics universe was at this time where, there's the black and white boom has not happened yet.
And they started with cons and shops, and so it's that small community.
Yeah. Super cool, man. I've never seen an issue 1 of a first printing of Raphael, I should say.
Up until about last year, Kevin Eastman had original pages for sale on his site.
It's the, look at that, Steve Gerber. Always fun. Baton Lash, rest in peace. Stan Sakai letter. Steve Bissett letter. This is always my favorite.
You need to get this reprinted. That mission is a worthy one.
Yeah. This is always my favorite stuff in these old comics. This is always the stuff I wanted to look at because I don't have access to these first printings. And what's interesting is the inside cover editorial of the second printing of this has the greatest editorial. It starts off Kevin Eastman saying, like, you ever have a secret that's so good but you really wanted to tell people but you couldn't? Guess what?
About the cartoon?
We have a cartoon that's going to be coming out.
God.
Tell your local, your local television stations
I
to
have-
carry this thing.
I have that second printing in there too.
We'll bust it out.
Yeah.
We'll bust it out. It's worth showing off, man. We haven't done this one yet, but we will. First appearance of Casey Jones. This is Donatello is the Peter Laird issue. This is firmly a Kevin Eastman comic.
But that Donatello issue is incredible too.
No, they
So
rules.
I was gonna just compare them, but I was like, oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah, no, it rules. And this is the stuff that Eastman and Laird were working on before Turtles.
And this is a Laird cover.
Yeah.
But this eventually became like Dooney's character because of all the chrome, effect.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if we could see a date on some of this stuff when it was originally created. But it's before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Issue 1 Turtles was 84.
Yeah, spring of '83 is when
There
they
you go.
put this stuff together. Yeah, it's so trippy, like the stippled metal texture, very 70s. Yeah, that'll be an episode.
Triceratons.
That'll be an episode. If you see Triceratons, you know that's probably Peter Laird.
So now we're into the comic book size ones. So these are the comic book size printings of this is issue 1 to the
that's your
Corbin cover.
Does he do backups in here or something?
Yeah, I actually have the loose pages.
Can we crack that open?
I don't think it's in this issue.
Okay.
He has. Is it issue 9 or something? He has a backup in. I can't remember. Maybe it is this issue. Let me check. Cause his backup, the one I know about, is a full color.
Yeah.
I think it was in a later issue.
And this is the first appearance of that image, man, that they used for the licensing for that Nintendo game.
4 cover price from Fantagraphics Bookstore.
Shouts to Larry Reed.
Yeah, thank you, Larry.
The issue where they wear their Star Wars influence on their sleeve.
Yeah, and that's the first comic-sized. And here's the second printing of issue 5. Just because the comic-sized second printings always have these interesting covers,
Yeah. I have this issue here myself.
6.
Is it
This is the second printing of
like issue 4 or something?
7.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't have a legit 7 in here.
I see.
But it's pretty similar. It's a Triceraton scene as well.
Yeah.
Issue 7. But yeah, that's issue 7. It's a Stephen Levine cover actually, or Laird, but
We got to cheat into the light, so whenever you show stuff like
I'm
that
sorry.
stuff, yeah.
this is the.
Such a good design, man. That
I
brain.
love it. And you miss a lot of this action right back here. Like you're looking at this cover and it's just a weird crank shot, and then you get
It's always so goofy, but that's the Ronin influence, right?
how they had to box it out like that.
Yeah.
I was wondering why it was. I didn't know if it was like the limitations of they did their art that size and then just ran it.
Yeah, I think Ronin would run over like that.
Yeah.
So that's 6.
This was 7.
This is the peak. This is the highest print run issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. Something like 128,000 on the strength of the Aardvark
and
Cerebus.
And they can't reprint it anymore in any of the compendiums.
Nope. This is when we start getting
The good airbrushing. This is the reappearance of Shredder.
yeah, man.
After they killed their main villain in the first issue.
Does it have like the fold out page?
Is this the
Like
issue
the,
with
like
that?
the trifold? I don't remember.
There is. What issue was? Oh, is it? Yeah, it is this issue.
Oh yeah, sick. Interesting, dude. It's a different paper stock. Look at that shit. That's fucking dope. And it's a different paper stock, man.
I didn't know
That's
that.
fascinating. And then you'll see a lot of like little.
Because they had this in a
hidden jokes
reprint.
and
They
stuff.
actually like colored it in a reprint or something.
It was in the first comics.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I have the first. That's why I saw it.
Yeah, it's in the first comics, and I think this is like in there too. So interesting. Uh-oh. When you see that, you know who's coming. And then they didn't say Cowabunga. They said Gungala.
Gungala. And that-
Gungala.
I met Steve Levine and he like tried to explain it to me like it was like they said it in Caddyshack.
Those guys are nerds, man.
They are nerds, but that's the best kind of comic people.
I dig it. The original April O'Neil.
Yeah,
She had that
the Jerry curl
King Louis permanent. Like my mama had that haircut. My mama had that exact whole outfit.
with the jean jacket and all.
Yeah, with like the members only windbreaker type joint. This is where we're getting into the singles,
Yeah.
where Peter Laird will do an issue.
Yeah.
He's going environmentalist with his. And then one of those other guys does this one. Probably Steve Levine or somebody.
Yeah, they start cutting out. This cover is a Dooney cover.
Yeah. Maybe he did the interiors on that one.
And then that's definitely...
This is Kevin Eastman, one of my jams. I freaking love this issue. I remember getting this issue at a flea market when I was a kid. Couldn't believe that cover, man.
Yeah.
Once again, they're movie nerdness, right? Like David Mamet's Untouchables
is that around the time this came out?
Must be. Must be. In his perfect Elliot Ness fashion.
Yeah.
Man, I love Eastman's work.
The intentionally vintage cover.
Yeah, man. Probably the first time I ever seen something like this. Too bad Jimmy's looking at whales and blowholes and stuff.
Yeah, he's missing out.
He would have marked out for this piece right here. And then here we start getting like Mark Martin, Eric Talbot.
Eric Talbot's
the sickest motherfucker, man. King of Outlaw Comics. I think he's a tattoo artist right now. Let's take a look at this. Look at that. That's the art of a guy who would grow to be a tattoo artist. And just messy. Like one of the very scary things that you would see with some of these guys' artworks, man, you might see it a little bit there, but they spatter that duotone chemical. And Gary Panther hit me up one time when he saw that I was using it and was like, Ed, that's carcinogenic, like throw that shit away. And the imagine
You're
these
like
guys,
swimming up.
yeah, like, you know, getting close to it and blowing it on the paper, or like flicking it with a toothbrush and getting it everywhere, like to get these kind of gray, like the gradations and stuff. Like, it's crazy. This is a good issue. Whenever Eric Talbot shows up, man, you got a good one.
Oh yeah.
Melting Pot already that early.
Melting Pot came out in like 90 that's with the one with Beasley, right?
Yeah.
Beasley.
Yeah, 89. Just goes to show you, like these guys, once that gravy train starts rolling,
they're like,
those comics ain't coming out very much. Mark Baudet.
Yep, the Bruce Lee issue.
I have this, but not this cover, so I must have like a reprint.
They did a second printing of this one.
Yeah,
it's the black cover with orange lettering.
Return to New York.
So this Eastman and Laird.
Eastman and Laird come back. But Eric Talbot does some fly ass shit in here too, though. You can't sleep on that. Like that double page spread of the Triceraton head.
Oh really?
Like this right here. Look at that. Look at how dope that is. That's amazing. That's sick as fuck.
That must have took for fucking ever.
You know, these guys, they figure out tricks, man.
Yeah.
They figure out tricks. But we had to look at just that piece alone.
Of course.
And then we start getting into more Mark Martin. A couple issues of that. My man. First generation Kubert School, Rick Veitch.
Yes.
Does the River trilogy.
Yep, those covers.
Issues. Look at that, man.
This was one of their first like big posters they were selling.
Is that so?
One. Yeah.
I learned a lot about the way to delineate water texture from the Rick Veitch issues of Ninja Turtles here. He really figured some stuff out with these.
Wow. Some Dooney.
Yeah, man. I remember these issues are so whacked out. What else we got here, man? Oh yeah, Roaring Vic. This one is sick as fuck. We're totally gonna have to do an episode on this one because it's Rick Veitch going Big Daddy Roth. Like, look at that right there, man. When we see that, look at that shit.
And an ad for the one in the front.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that dude. He's carrying his head on a... He's carrying his own head on a hook. That's the shit, man.
It's the best comics.
Oh, yeah. You got to see what this one mutant lady looks like with the big lips. Look at these lips.
The chocho lips, we call them in Hawaii.
What'd you say? Panocha lips?
Chocho. What's panocha?
Vagina.
Oh, shit.
More Baudet. Here's that Richard Corbin. Turtles in Time, dude. Great issue.
The first, yeah.
Rich Head and Tom McQueenie. This is some special stuff. They did that comic called Roach Mill.
That's Roach Mill?
Yeah, this is the Roach Mill guys.
There's the one you guys covered, the Zuli.
Michael Zuli.
Yeah.
The Trilogy. The weirdest, scariest looking turtles you'll ever see.
I'm like, as a kid, I was not tempted to crack that open at all.
I hear you, man. But you know what? When I found these, I remember going like, okay, this is the stuff that the kids at school were telling me about. Where like, you got to read the Turtles comics because they chop people's heads off. They look scary. They say the F word.
And
none of that really happens here.
Yeah.
But the aesthetic is what, in my mind's eye,
this looks raw
those guys
enough
are
to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very hippie though. It's very hippie.
Woodsy.
This guy Rick McCollum, who was a staple of those black and white comics, he did this one. This is like one of my earliest issues.
Did we pass the Howarth issue already?
I don't know.
Oh,
Like, I didn't see
okay,
it.
I forget the order sometimes.
I think this is
The burgers.
it's this burger. Yeah.
There's the Howarth. Yeah, okay.
With like marker color, and this is those markers that definitely gave you cancer. Like it would stink your house up for days. If you saw this original, it probably still smells like the
Just
alcohol from that
fumes.
shit. Totally. Another McCollum piece. That's the thing that would be so crazy. So like, this is issue 37, and then this might be the sequel to this issue, but it's issue 42.
They were letting these guys fill in, like, they were like, we got to get a comic out there. Let's put the Howarth one in between them. And
just letting these guys tell the story they wanted to, take the amount of time they needed to, and, pad it out with some stuff.
Farley.
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
And he really, he's probably drawn more Turtles comics than Eastman and Laird.
Yeah, and he did the trade covers for the comic-sized ones.
Yeah.
And those covers are amazing.
This is Talbot, right?
That I can't...
Leatherhead or Leatherneck?
Leatherhead.
One's a G.I. Joe and one's a...
Leatherneck's the G.I. Joe for sure, guarantee.
So this is like one of the only characters that transcended the cartoon and made it into the comics, really, right? Like,
yeah.
I think he was on the cartoon before this.
He must be, because we're already in like 1990 already.
92.
90. Oh yeah, he was in the cartoon way before that.
Yeah, but then they gussy him up in Mirage Comics.
Maybe
fashion.
even Rat King appeared in Tales, and Tales began in like 88, 89.
Right.
Dooney, my man.
Dooney has a couple more.
And of note, if anybody is like a comics market person, these are the first appearance of Space Usagi.
Is that so?
Usagi Yojimbo's cartoon's gonna be like space version, I guess.
Is that really?
Yeah. So these are like crazy value now.
It's so funny because, like, aside from the issues that you tossed to me, I built my collection for $1 or less.
I would expect that in the mainland. Like, I would think you could find those, and then you're saying they're drying up now.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
A lot of these came to me very, like, my mentor, Bruce Ellsworth, he would just give me a turtle comic if he found it. He knew I liked them.
That's so cool. And then this is, like, the last batch of stuff from Volume 1.
Great Farley covers, but it's Eastman and Laird inside, right?
No, they kind of, like, plotted the story. It's like Last Ronin, right? Like, they kind of
they had the layout.
Wrote a couple of gimmicks on a napkin and said that they're back into the game and let.
That's what the poster says for the ad for this.
Right. You could find the first batch of these reasonably cheap, but with every subsequent issue, the black and white, like the speculator bust has happened, and they're printing fewer and fewer of these comics. There's Rat King. Fewer and fewer of these comics, and the last issues are prohibitively expensive at this point.
Karai shows up.
Look at that, man. Should we show off? Is it the last issue that has the McFarlane?
Is it? I didn't know which issue out of them. I hope it's the last one.
Let's take a look.
Some Usagi.
Coitus Interruptus, man. It's not in there. Oh,
I have the Xenotech books too. Do you know what issue it is, Todd?
I do have the Fleming Carrot one with the turtles on it, that McFarlane did for the cover.
This it's not in here either.
Yeah, that's all right.
I got the poster if anybody's curious.
I mean, we could just flash it up on the screen right this very minute.
The magic of editing.
So is there any other sort of standouts, like holy grails? You know what would be cool? Those Image Comics ones are real hard to find.
Okay, so you might be interested in this. This is all of the this is everything else Mirage from that time period.
Okay.
That's not the main run of 1 through 62.
Yeah, so I don't have any of these.
So
Man,
these are the
can you tell me
tales.
about these? Like,
I don't know much except for this is where you learn that Jim Lawson's a machine and like he carries this whole thing.
he does all the artwork or most of it? Yeah, there's
most of
Rat King
it,
right
yeah.
there.
Like, because when Tales Volume 2 rolls around in the 2003 Mirage, Jim Lawson is like almost every issue.
Look at these like 80s airbrushed buildings, man. That's funny.
Almost CG. Rat King.
I have this issue. Oh, look at that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, the
that's
micro
neat.
series.
Yep.
These things freaking rule.
There's the Donatello.
I feel like this one would be a Eastman. This
Yeah.
one is definitely a Laird. Can we bust
Yeah.
this out and show that editorial?
Let's see it. So they had 2 printings of the Michelangelo.
Yeah.
One of them has like an extra story in it.
Okay, let's see how this goes, man. Did you ever have a secret, a really neat one that you were just dying to tell everyone right away, but you
didn't know
couldn't? Because if you let it out too soon, it would spoil things. Well, we've been in that quandary since last year, but now we can finally let the turtle out of the bag, so to speak. And then he goes into the whole spiel about how there's going to be a cartoon, a bunch of action figures, a whole campaign for Ninja Turtles, man. And this sets it off. In fact, I remember isolating this image and sending it off to Mark Frauenfelder at Boing Boing, and it was a whole post because this is
that the Surge licensing guy?
it is, yeah, this is the signifier of
His-
everything that's forthcoming. You know, like these guys are excited, but they don't even know.
Yeah.
They have no idea what's
How
coming.
badly they're exploding after this.
Yeah, it's incredible. And if you read those interviews, I mean, they got it. With great power comes great responsibility. Like, those guys that wrote that editorial don't know that they have to put tens of millions of dollars into a fund just for lawyer fees for all the people who are going to be suing them because people in their life said the word turtle before they created the comic.
did it, yeah.
So they feel like they are the creators of the Ninja Turtles, just
Oh
like
my
all that kind of
goodness.
scum. So this is like the reprint.
Yeah, that's and then all the one-shots from the Mirage era.
Yeah, I don't know these very well at
These
all.
are leading-
I have this one.
You can tell by the logo they're leading into the Volume 2.
Totally.
This one was interesting. This was like an educational.
Don't plug up the storm drain.
Yeah.
And what is this?
Turtle Mania special. This was a con kind of thing, like a zine they did. I think it was like 89. These were very limited, and 86. God damn. Yeah, this is pretty early.
Can we take a look?
Automatic. Oh, you found it? Which issue was it?
50. The City of
Dude, this is so cool. The print run for the
Oh, wow.
the early issue. So the first issue, 3,000 copies. The second printing, 6,000. Then shit is popping. Third printing, 35,000. But we're not done yet. The fourth printing of issue number 1, 60,000 copies.
Yeah.
That's amazing. man.
So the fourth printing is the first comic-sized one.
Okay. And then the first printing of issue 1, 15K. Because
Yeah.
you know, like, at a certain point, when you start ordering more comics, it's so much cheaper. You know what I mean?
You just go anyways.
And you might as well. It just becomes a warehousing issue. So it's like...
paying for the space.
Exactly. That's so cool, man. And then check
And
this out. The
stuff-
first printing is 50,000, 60,000,
Yeah.
95,000 for issue 7.
Yeah, issue 5 is where they go comic size from the first prints.
That's so cool, man. This is amazing, dude. Some of that Richard Corbin. A little preview of some Richard. They're very happy
Yeah.
about their Corbin comic. Bob
I mean,
Burnham.
imagine them meeting Corbin. Like, they...
yeah,
I
they're
I guess they exploded afterwards.
they're big
but
fanboys.
By issue 2, they weren't that big, right? So how did they get Corbin to do the cover on the second printing of issue 2, or the third printing of issue 2?
Yeah, I mean that third printing might happen a
Maybe,
little
yeah.
later. You know, if they have 15,000 copies, like
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
it's going to take them a little while to sell, maybe. Yeah, these are all news to me, man. I
Yes.
see some Bisley.
Yep. This is like where Bisley steps in, and then they give him body count after this.
Okay. What do we got here?
This is just a benefit comic, but Michael Dooney cover. I'm a sucker for Dooney.
Oh,
These
dude,
are the
you got
unlicensed,
Solson
yeah, the
joints.
Solsons.
I think I hear Jimmy driving here right now
Sounds right.
from the edifice of some volcano. The Solson training manuals, man, to show kids how to kick
Kick each
motherfuckers
other's
in the
ass.
neck.
How to? This is like the. I needed no manual to find a stick and use it as a bow staff to beat all my friends with.
So funny, man. So funny. And then they jack you. Like when I was a kid, I got this one, and then I'm like, this ain't a comic. What?
Yeah, it's just like
F
pinups
this bullshit.
and words and crap. And they don't even get the regular artist, right? So it's just like...
Yeah, it's totally like licensed stuff. And I think, Rich Buckler, well, I'm not going to say because I don't know for a fact, so we'll squash that.
Turtle Soups.
Are these anthologies? I don't know.
Yeah,
if
they're
a soup,
anthology
really.
books. There's a small, individual. Same like Prime Sign Tales.
Yeah, it's like their version of Critters or something.
They did quite a bit of these, yeah. Like
Trying to hatch a new kind of Usagi Yojimbo or something out of the...
Well, they did
Mark
give birth to
Martin.
that.
Mark Martin movie parody comic, and that reprint of Gobbledygook.
Yeah, I've been looking for original Gobbledygooks, man.
Yeah, good luck. I saw the print run in that little zine said 150 copies.
Yeah.
So
The
did an episode on
bootlegs
that.
just went for eBay. One of the bootlegs just sold for $1,500.
Yeah.
For Gobbledygook.
amazing, man.
And it was a known bootleg. Yeah.
That's so cool. What else is in that box?
The Archie run. I don't know if you care for any of that.
What's the best of the Archie run?
Black Hole Trilogy.
Pull that out. Pull that out, and then we'll.
Well,
cut
the
this episode.
first 3 issues are also good. This is the first Bebop and Rocksteady. This is our introduction to the Turtles universe.
Let's see what these look like. These comics would be at the 7-Eleven. They would be the most beat up comics. Like the fact that you have this in any kind of nice condition is incredible, because every little kid who didn't even fuck with comics would at least give these things a glance.
Oh,
Pencil by
hold
Michael
on.
Dooney.
There is a...
And you see, like, totally, like, from the cartoon. Dude, with so many ads for Ninja Turtles things.
Okay. This is one I do want to... Because I have the original art. Some of the original art from this book.
Oh, sick.
I have 2 pages from this book, but this is the one
This is Gene Colan.
Gene Colan book from the Ninja Turtles.
Let's take a look at that. Let's see what Gene does on the Turtles. You know what? It's almost heartbreaking, actually.
Like when you said something about him needing the work, and then I kind of got bummed out.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know anything about it.
It probably is, right? Because he did. I actually realized that Gene Colan did some other Archie books.
Yeah, I'm just saying we know what he draws like, and to be kind of shackled, it hurts. It hurts.
Do you want to get a shot of that?
Oh, there it is, man. We were talking about that before.
That's
man.
issue 50.
The Todd McFarlane pinup. There's a Simonson,
Wow.
Eric Larson.
God damn.
Yeah, so they got look at that Simonson turtle. I think we saw him on the beach.
And speaking of the Eric Larson stuff, because Savage Dragon was kind of like Turtles were suffering in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
And then Eric Larson brings them back through the Savage Dragon.
Put him in issue number 2.
Yeah.
Gene Colan Turtles. I have to come to Maui to discover such things, man. It's crazy. Oh, that's interesting. The letters go to Mirage.
Yeah, the Mirage staff was handling everything. Like when I met Steve Levine,
Yeah.
he kind of opened my eyes on a lot of things, and they really didn't. And this surprised me. They don't like the toy art. Everybody's that's an iconic thing to a lot of people, and the toy art, the Mirage guys hated it.
Yeah.
But Playmates was in charge a little bit of selecting that stuff, so they didn't have a say, and they hated it. So the Future Shark trilogy is the introduction of Armagon. These are like the first Turtle comics I read.
Yeah.
And then afterwards is the Black Hole trilogy, which is like...
It's ridiculous, man.
right?
Is the Black Hole trilogy with the Intergalactic Wrestling?
No, actually Intergalactic Wrestling is much earlier. That's like issue 7 or something.
That's the stuff that I remember.
Yeah. That's in the teens where they start into. Here's the first slash is 23 and 24. When they first intro slash.
That's funny, man.
I was really into a lot of these. I like the Mutanimals.
I just saw Mutanimals right here. Yeah, I never fucked with these, man. I never messed with these at all because, like, I knew about the Mirage, and I'm like, this is for, like, my little brother.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is also the most ubiquitous stuff. Like, you would see, I mean, what's the print run on these, you think, man? They were in every 7-Eleven, and how many thousands of 7-Elevens?
Yeah. This, and this run was, oh, that's not the image I was looking for. But around this time, they go to the future, and then Raph comes back with an eye patch.
Yeah.
So he's, like, more badass. And it's funny, because you do have Lawson doing, like, these are Mirage guys doing the covers for this cartoon stuff.
There are some where, like, Steve Bissette did a bunch of pinups.
Yeah. Somebody sent them to you on the show recently.
Yeah, they did.
So here's the end of the run. It ends on 72, but I also got the bootleg continuations in the back.
Yeah, I can't wait to get there. Striking covers, for sure. But, wow, man, that looks European.
Oh, you found it.
Stuff is crazy. This must be around the time there's your patch, Raphael. This must be the time when the toys were getting just out of hand, right? Like,
oh yeah, this
like
Cyber Samurai.
Kind of
this is the same time in the cartoon where like they're just going off into like they had like this pizza delivery sidekick dude who turned into a turtle himself, and
that's some Jump the Shark type stuff.
Yeah.
This is pretty sick, man.
Yeah.
Whoever this is, Chris Allen.
He was actually a pretty prolific turtle artist, and he could go between that cartoon to a little bit darker.
I almost thought that said buttholes.
That's the final issue, which these are like worth 100 or so a piece, just because these are the low print runs.
Yeah, sure. Like
and that's the final of the Archie run.
But that's not a bootleg.
Not a bootleg. Oh no, these are the bootlegs. So I forget who. There's this one guy.
Yeah.
And I forget his name.
We don't need to narc him out.
Yeah, but he's been doing all these continuations of, like, he does issue 71 of Tales 2.
So it's just his own thing. Like, he's just continuing the series.
But Chris Allen did the art on this. So they get the original artists and writers, and he just pays them out of his pocket.
That's fucking sick. I want these.
Yeah.
See, now my interest is piqued.
He brought it to 75. This is from fellow Kayfaber, Gene. GRN. They do the Wizard magazines, Eli Schwab and Gene.
Yeah.
They sent me this one.
Oh, Eli.
Yeah.
Eli, what the fuck, dude? I gotta see these things, man.
Yeah, man. Crack them open.
That's incredible. I love that. These guys care about this shit that much that they're gonna just get the original guys.
So this team, the guys...
200 copies.
It begins with the letter A. I forget the guy's name who organizes and pays for all this stuff.
Andrew Modine?
That's him. Andrew Modine. That's the guy. And so they do... You know how Image ends at issue 23?
Yeah.
He does a 24 and 25.
That's so cool.
Tales, volume 2, ends at issue 70. He does a 71.
Kayfabers, P.O. Box 3071, Munhall, PA 15120. Two copies of each, please.
I can still find you these. The inker is this Russian dude, Arseny Dabokov.
I saw that Russian name and I was like, okay, this makes sense, man. This is some Russian bootleg shit.
He's allowed to sell them in Russia, so you can order them from him.
I gotta just take a look. This will blow Jimmy's mind if he doesn't know about this stuff.
I'm sure Eli's probably already.
Eli, pack us up, man. Oh, dude, the Terror Drum, the Techno Drum comes to New York. Uh-oh. I start to brace a little bit when I see furries. That makes me nervous.
Well, the one book I don't have from this run, I don't know if you heard about it. They call it the Birds and the Bees issue.
Oh, there's fucking?
It's by the Adventure staff, and there were only 50 copies made, and they only gave them to each other. And there is fucking.
Oh.
It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventures Infinity. The number is infinity.
Is it in color?
It's in black and white.
Good. Oh, it just gets more spare?
Yeah, like, I'm sure that 74 and 75 are gonna be finished eventually, but
Yeah.
like you
Oh,
know,
these
people
are like
so
ash
hungry.
cans?
Yeah, these are ash cans.
Oh yeah, I see that ash can.
Because this 73 came out. Like that's full color. That was the one.
Let's get the air out of that. Alika, thank you so much, man, for showing us this stuff, man.
Yes.
You know what? Let's close out this particular episode. And you want to give shouts out Maui Comics, socials, like
Yeah,
drop the spill.
Maui Comics and Collectibles. You can find us on IG, Maui_Comics, on Facebook, Maui Comics and Collectibles, and the Maui Comic Con. IG at Maui Comic Con, Facebook Maui Comic Con. Obviously, just look us up, MauiComicCon.com. If you want to see Ed and Jim were just there. It was a great show.
Yes.